Hi y'all, I'm Abby. Welcome to my channel, Abby's Retro Rescue, where I rescue vintage items from my Gen X childhood and show them to all of you guys. All right, so this last week I went to estate sales as usual, and it was a big week. I've actually gotten 3 new vintage Cabbage Patch Kids to share with you guys, and they're 3 different types of Cabbage Patch Kids because as you probably know, back in the 80s and 90s and beyond, there were a lot of iterations of the Cabbage Patch Kids. And so today we're going to learn about some new ones. And 2 of these were new to me because, I don't know everything about these dolls. I know what I remember from my own childhood, and I had a bunch of them. But I just had like the traditional ones. I didn't have any of like the special rare ones or the newer edition ones or anything like that. And so I'm still discovering those as I shop. And so this just happened to be a big week. So I'm going to show you 3 different types of dolls from 3 different lines. So we're going to do this in the order that these were produced. So we will be starting with the unboxing of this beautiful Preemie. So the Cabbage Patch Preemies, I've shown these in previous videos. I had 2 of them back in the day. I remember getting my first one. I think it was the year they came out, which was 1984. And I was very excited. And I believe a portion of their proceeds went to the March of Dimes. And they usually came with a little pamphlet explaining what a preemie is and stuff like that, and how you can donate to the March of Dimes. They're really cute. They're very similar to the traditional Coleco dolls. They have the same, head molds and things like that, but smaller. So a standard size for Cabbage Patch doll would be about 16 inches, and these were about 14 inches. So just a tad smaller than a traditional doll. So this one did come in her box, and she's very cute. Her birth certificate's still in there. We can see it through the box. I think she's been opened before because she looks a little askew, but I don't think she's been played with. So we're going to go ahead and get her out of the box. This is my first time unboxing her. I wanted to do that with you guys, and we're going to take a look and see on her bottom what year she's from, because it doesn't indicate that. Sometimes it'll say here on the box, but this one doesn't. So let's open her up, see what her name is, and get a little bit more information. It's also really cool to see the original price tag from Sears, $29.99. So we talked about this before. You want to open it from the bottom. Whoop. We're going to try to preserve the box because it's in really good condition. There was a second doll at that sale that I left behind because her box was pretty jacked up. But this one was good. All right, so let's remove the box. See what we've got going on here. Here is her birth certificate. And her name is, drumroll please, Arlene Joella. October 1st. I don't know where they come up with this, the dates and all of that. But this is her official birth certificate papers. So you could fill this out and send it in, and then they would send you back, one with your name on it typed on, or you could just keep it like that. They have some little parent association club that you could join. When I grow up, I want to be a golfer. Okie dokie then. Here's the envelope for Babyland General. If you want to send this in and put your address and everything, then they will send you back your parent association membership card and whatever comes with that. I think you got like a little newsletter and things. Okay, enough of that. Let's take a look at the doll. She does have a twisty tie of sorts, although it looks like it's tied. I'm going to probably have to cut this. Let me grab some scissors. Okay, I got my scissors. I wasn't prepared for that. Usually it's just a twisty tie. This one looks like they were a little bit more aggressive putting it back in the box, and they tied it like in a knot, in a double knot. So I just cut it. I don't think this is the original twisty tie because they were usually clear, and this is more of like a black trash bag style. But anyway, she looks great. I love her green eyes because I also have green eyes. And she has the tuft of hair underneath her hat, which is so cute. So cute. And this hat is funny. It has a hole. So the tuft of hair, oops, the tuft of hair comes out. Underneath, let's see, she has a nice long gown. It almost looks like a baptism gown or something. All white with the little flowers at the top there, detail, and the lace. Very clean. She's very clean. Oh, she has little yarn booties. Crocheted booties. Very cute. And a diaper, but we are going to pull the diaper back so we can see a little more information. We want to look at the tag, and it will tell us what factory she comes from. And it is Factory P. And let's see what year this doll is. 1984. And remember, I was telling you that is the year they started making the Preemies. So she is an original year Preemie, and she's beautiful. I'm sure one of you guys will get on my Etsy store once I list her, which will be soon, and give her a new home. She's just precious and very nice and clean. There's no odor or anything like that. Okay, so that is little Arlene Joella. So we're going to put her down here for now. So we know Coleco made the Preemies in 1984, and then Coleco continued producing the dolls until they were bought out by Hasbro. And they started making the dolls in 1988. So after Coleco sold out to Hasbro, there was a transition period between the two companies of which toy lines were being made. And the first full toy line that Hasbro made of the dolls were these Babyland dolls. And so you can see right away, it's smaller than the traditional Cabbage Patch Kids. They're supposed to be babies, which is kind of weird because Cabbage Patch Kids are also babies, like they have pacifiers and stuff. Some of them are preemie. This one, although it's a baby, is actually smaller than the preemie. So the size is confusing to me, but this is supposed to be a baby made by Hasbro. They still have the Xavier Roberts signature on the bottom. You can see the signature there. It's green. And then you can see the Babyland tag, which looks a little different. And these are designed for smaller children. Like a baby could play with this. It doesn't have any loose parts or anything that comes off. The clothes don't come off like the other ones. And it's more plush. It's like polyfill. So it's softer and plushier, and it has a little tuft of hair, but again, the hat does not come off. The face is similar to what we're seeing, although it's kind of chinless. It kind of has an odd little face. This is how they all were. And then they would come with a bib like this. Mine has a monkey on it and has a squeaker in it. I'm not sure why. But again, if these are for babies, right, they might have also come with a rattle like this. And I've had this one for a while. I got it at an estate sale. It didn't come with a doll. It was just loose. But now it can go with this baby, and she can have a little rattle. She can kind of hold it because it's got a hole. We'll just put it on there like this. So I can see why a baby would like this. This would appeal to a baby, and it would be nice and safe for them. So I can kind of get the appeal of these dolls, although, of course, the original ones are, in my opinion, better, more desirable. But still, these little Babyland ones are cute, and I didn't know a lot about this. I saw it at the estate sale, and it was a good price, so I picked it up and did a little research to find out about these. So interesting. This is actually the first Hasbro kid that I own, because I typically only go for the Coleco ones. I like their face molds better, and I just think they're cuter, and also they remind me of my childhood because that's what I had as a kid. But I do like this little baby. I think it's super cute. It's very clean. It came from a nice home and a clean sale. I like the colors of the outfits. They have these little Babyland kids on the bottom, like tread. I guess they're called Babyland kids. Anyway, this was new to me. But I am glad I got her. She's very cute. I'm saying it's a her. It kind of looks like a girl. but it didn't have a birth certificate. And I don't even know if these had birth certificates. Y'all can tell me if you know in the comments. But anyway, the first line from Hasbro, pretty cute. Okay, so if you're following the timeline, we had this Preemie from 1984. Of course, Coleco continued making the kids until 1989. We had 1988 Babyland Kid. And now we have another one that's called a transitional kid. So that means during the transition from Coleco to Hasbro, they were both making dolls. So it gets a little tricky to figure out who made the dolls. But this one is a Coleco doll. You can tell from her tag. And she is called Transitional, and she's actually a toddler. And she still has her tag. Cabbage Patch Kids, Toddler Kids. And on the back, it does say Coleco here. So they're a lot like the regular Cabbage Patch Kids, but they're smaller, which is weird to me. You would think, okay, the Cabbage Patch Kids are babies, right? And some of them are preemies. And so the dolls are 16 inches. But no, the toddlers, instead of being larger, are actually a little bit smaller. So, I mean, she's probably maybe like, I don't know, probably about the same size as a preemie. Let's see. Yeah, I would say the toddlers are about the size of a preemie, or maybe a little bit smaller. She's probably about 14 inches. It's very confusing, the sizes, right? I mean, shouldn't a toddler be bigger? I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just reading too much into it. But anyway, so this one threw me off, but she did have the toddler tag, which helped me identify her. The other identifier is the really cute outfit. It's different from the regular outfits. And the shoes. I love these shoes. They are so cute. So one thing that makes this a transitional kid is I did some homework and I noticed her tag said Coleco. The back of her head, she's got a Coleco head mold. She's a Coleco doll, but her clothing is tagged by Hasbro. And so she's got a Coleco doll with Hasbro clothes. And some of these dolls will even have like Coleco head, Hasbro body, or vice versa. It got really crazy there towards the end. So we're looking at 1989 for the transitional kids, and they are a little bit more collectible. Collectors like these because they're unique. They didn't make as many in the interim. They're only for the short period of time when Coleco and Hasbro were changing hands. So therefore, it makes them a little bit more rare. So when I removed her clothes and took a look at her signature, it is the rose-colored signature with no date, which indicates, again, she is from 1989. One of the reasons I probably didn't know much about these toddler kids is in 1989, I was a freshman. I was starting high school that year. And so I wasn't collecting these dolls anymore. I collected them in elementary school when they were very early. So like this one, I would have been in fourth grade, and I was still collecting dolls. But then by the time I got to ninth grade, I wasn't collecting them anymore. I still had mine and I still, had them on a shelf and enjoyed looking at them, but I wasn't buying them. I wasn't actively collecting them anymore. So I really sort of lost track. I didn't even realize that, Coleco had sold out to Hasbro. I wasn't paying attention to that kind of stuff back then. So fast forward to now, I'm having to sort of like relearn some of the history of the Cabbage Patch Kids, even though I was a big time fan back in the day. So 1989, toddler kid, very, very cute. Transitional kid, Coleco doll, Hasbro clothes. I do think this is her original outfit. She was kept really nice. She was at a sale, clean house, a different, all of these were from different houses. But I do not buy dolls and plush toys from houses that are stinky or dirty. I only buy them from clean sales. And this one was just on a shelf, almost like she had just been sitting there the whole time as decoration and not really played with. So she is in excellent condition. So sometimes these dolls came in what's called a friends set. She might have been part of one of those because there was another doll there with her that was a traditional Cabbage Patch doll. But I only bought this one because the price was a little high and the other one wasn't in as good of condition. They didn't have their box, so I have no way of knowing. But they did have something called a friend set where they would have a full-size doll and then one of these toddler dolls. And those are also considered rare and collectible. So she may have been part of a friend set, and if she is, I may have broken up the friendship, and if I did, I'm truly sorry. But she is super cute. Her hair's in great shape. I love her little pigtails. She's got the brown hair, brown eyes. I'm sure that someone will adopt and love this little girl. Well, all of these dolls are super cute, and I hope this helped clear up some of the confusion around the different types of dolls and the transition from Coleco to Hasbro, which I'm still learning about that too. But hopefully you learned something from today's video, and I hope that you liked it. And if you did, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you guys liked this video, you'd probably also enjoy my Cabbage Patch glow up makeover video where I did makeovers on a bunch of Cabbage Patch kids. I'm going to link that one right here, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, y'all.